Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj Ki Jai.
Mandeham Shri Guru Shri Adha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishkam Vitam Scha Om Ajnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuramilidam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhistam Supurakam Gurganara Sisha Sambhusitam Chincha Chincha Samasta Veda Nipanam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govindabhidam Ujwalam Varatanam Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shah Divyat Bhagawat Prem Navi Bijapradam Devam Divyatanam Suchandavaranam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Banditam Shivaram Marika Sharanam Nyashishvara Shridaram Manchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Namo Mahabaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratabhishe Namah. So reading from Sri Chaitanya Bhagawat by Srila Vrindaban Das Thakur, which this is translated by Sarvabhavana Das, and this is Madhya-khanda, chapter 16. Sri Chaitanya enjoys the rice of Shuklambar. All glory to Sri Gaurachandra, the Supreme Lord of Lords. All glory to the beloved devotees of Sri Vishwambar. Sri Vishwambar is now in the midst of fully manifesting his Sankirtan movement with his associates in Navadip. Whole nights are passed in dancing and kirtan behind closed doors, for such pastimes are not meant for the common materialistic men. One day the Lord was engrossed in dancing in Srivas Pandit's house. Unknown to anyone, Srivas's mother-in-law had hidden herself behind baskets in a corner of the room. Nevertheless, what is the use of such hide-and-seek games? When there is a lack of devotional feeling inside, one will not be fortunate enough to see the Lord's ecstatic dancing. While dancing, the Lord repeatedly pointed out, "Why do I not feel the usual exhilaration today?" The Lord is the Supersoul, residing within everyone's heart. Yet knowing everything, he did not reveal anything, pretending ignorance. He said in between his dancing, "I am not deriving any pleasure today. Is someone hiding somewhere inside this house?" Srivas Pandit went through the whole house looking for strangers, but could not find anyone and informed the same to the Lord. The devotees continued the kirtan, but the Lord felt the same as before. He again stopped and said, "I am still not feeling the usual ecstasy. Maybe this is Krishna's wish." The devotees were thrown into a whirlpool of mental anxiety. The devotees were thrown into a whirlpool of mental agony. They said to one another, "There is no one other than ourselves here, so probably due to some offense on our part, the Lord is not relishing his dancing today." Srivas Pandit went searching again and eventually discovered his mother-in-law hiding behind the baskets. Srivas Pandit is a sober person, always submerged in loving devotion. He is never proud or cantankerous, but now he began to shake, remembering Vishwambar's displeasure. He ordered his mother-in-law to be taken away, pulled by her hair. This was done without the knowledge of anyone, and almost immediately Vishwambar began to feel the usual ecstasy in dancing. He said, "Now I can feel the ecstasy." Sripad Pandit was very happy to hear this, and laughing, he joined in the kirtan. The kirtan picked up momentum, indicating the devotees' jubilant response. Everyone was laughing and dancing. Lord Chaitanya danced in divine pleasure, and Nityananda danced around him. Sri Chaitanya's pastimes are not visible to everyone, only to those fortunate souls who receive the Lord's special mercy. On another occasion, Lord Chaitanya, while dancing, suddenly stopped and looked about himself discontentedly. He said, "I'm not feeling any joy from dancing today. I do not know what offenses I have committed against a Vaishnava." Everyone stopped and wondered what had gone wrong. This incident is actually a sequel to something that had happened earlier. Advaitacharya is naturally a devotee of Lord Chaitanya in the mood of servitorship. When Lord Chaitanya sits on the throne of Lord Vishnu, he places the Lord's lotus feet upon his head. In addition, when the Lord begins exhibiting his power and grandeur, Advaitacharya is carried upon the waves of bliss. When the Lord says, "O Nada, you are my servant," Advaitacharya becomes submerged in oceanic bliss. Lord Chaitanya's nature and position is inconceivable, and he cannot be understood. Lord Chaitanya's nature and position is inconceivable and cannot be understood. One moment he is the supreme autocrat, and in the next moment he reaches out to embrace the feet of the Vaishnavas. Crying out in great humility, the Lord said, "O Krishna, my dearest Lord, you are my very life." The Lord wept in such a pathetic manner that even stone-like hearts melted in pity. The Lord continuously manifested these devotional moods of servitorship. In front of everyone, he discarded the omnipotent demeanor of the Supreme Lord, and acting contrary to the nature of his omniscient self, he inquired, "Have I done something due to lack of self-restraint and restlessness of mind? If so, then why was I not immediately put to death? Krishna is my life and soul. Krishna is my goal. And you are my brothers and friends, birth after birth. Devotional service to Krishna is the ultimate destination. All of you kindly instill this faith in me, otherwise I will become wayward." All the devotees became perplexed with anxiety, and no one could defy the words of the Lord. At other times, when the Lord himself was in his omnipotent mood, he himself ordered the devotees to touch his lotus feet. However, now, feeling the mood of a devotee of Krishna, the Lord, upon seeing the Vaishnavas, took the dust from their feet, offering them respect. This intensely hurt the devotees within, and so to mitigate their misery, the Lord embraced them. The Lord, in such moods, respected Advaitacharya as guru. However, this caused Advaita much pain. Though service was Advaita's only wish, the Acharya always found it so difficult to serve the Lord as the Lord would not allow it. Now, in addition, the Lord was considering him guru and begging for the dust of his feet. Consequently, Advaitacharya was always contemplating how to serve the Lord. So the Lord considered Advaitacharya as guru because of Advaitacharya's age, and also because Advaitacharya had taken initiation from Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri is the spiritual master of Mahaprabhu's Ishwara Puri. So he's considering Advaitacharya guru in this, but Advaitacharya is considering himself the servant of Mahaprabhu. So this is causing Advaitacharya pain. Consequently, Advaitacharya was always contemplating how to serve the Lord and be specially blessed by having the dust from the Lord's lotus feet upon his head. Since this was impossible while the Lord was aware and conscious, Advaita would wait for the Lord to go into an ecstatic trance and and then, prostrating himself, he would smear the dust from the Lord's lotus feet upon his head. Embracing his lotus feet, he wept, bathing them with his tears of love. Sometimes he wiped and cleaned his lotus feet. Sometimes he wiped and cleaned his lotus feet upon his head, and on other occasions he would offer the Lord full worship. All this was possible for Advaita to do only by the Lord's grace. Accordingly, one must understand that Advaitacharya is foremost among the Lord's associates, for he has fully received the Lord's blessings. The envious and jealous cannot appreciate such wonderful qualities in Advaitacharya. This day, when Lord Vishwambar was dancing, Advaitacharya was happily dancing, circumambulating him. Suddenly, Lord Chaitanya fell down unconscious in the highest state of spiritual ecstasy. Advaitacharya, seeing this as an opportunity, took the dust from the Lord's lotus feet and stealthily smeared the dust all over his body. Lord Chaitanya got up and again started dancing. Nevertheless, he did not feel the usual exultation. The Lord then said, "Why is my heart not revealing to me the reason for my dissatisfaction? Whom have I offended that I must be without joy? Which thief has stolen from me, and by this offense I cannot dance in carefree ecstasy? Has anyone taken the dust from my feet? Kindly speak out the truth. Do not worry. You have my assurances that nothing will happen." When the devotees heard Lord Chaitanya, who is the omniscient supersoul within everyone's heart, they remained silent in fear. On one hand, they were afraid of Advaitacharya, and on the other, if they did not speak the truth, it was doomsday for them. Understanding their dilemma, Advaitacharya spoke up. With folded hands, Advaitacharya said, "My dear Lord Chaitanya, if a thief cannot have the treasure he is looking for while the master is awake and unwilling, then the thief must steal it while the master is unable to see or know. I have stolen the dust from your lotus feet. Kindly forgive me for this offense. If this dissatisfies you, my Lord, I will not do it again." Lord Chaitanya became infuriated by Advaita's words, and under the pretext of angry words, he revealed the transcendental qualities of Advaitacharya. He said, "Even after you have annihilated the entire cosmic creation, you do not feel a touch of remorse. After this total devastation, only I remain, yet it seems that you will be content only after you have devastated me. You do not destroy the sages, hermits, yogis, and philosophers with your trident. Yet those who come to you humbly seeking your grace, you catch their feet and finish them off." Now, this is a conception of Vrindaban Das Thakur. He's considering that Advaitacharya, he's saying Advaitacharya is Sadashiva. And the Chaitanya Charitamrita says that Advaitacharya is Mahavishnu. But Srila Guru Maharaj has explained it's not as far apart as it may seem, in the sense that Mahavishnu, at the time of creation, he cast his glance over the material creation. But Mahavishnu doesn't touch the material creation. So the glance becomes personified as Shambhu, as Lord Shiva. So there is some relationship between Mahavishnu and Lord Shiva. But here we see that the reference is to Advaitacharya as Sadashiva. Because you can understand that in this paragraph. Lord Chaitanya became infuriated by Advaita's words, and under the pretext of angry words, he revealed the transcendental qualities of Advaitacharya. He said, "Even after you have annihilated the entire cosmic creation, you do not feel a touch of remorse. After this total devastation, only I remain, yet it seems that you will be content only after you have devastated me. You do not destroy the sages, hermits, yogis, and philosophers with your trident. Yet those who come to you humbly seeking your grace, you catch their feet and finish them off. I am just a Vaishnava from Vrindaban, Mathura, referring to himself as Krishna, and I have come to pay my respects at your lotus feet. While such a person should develop more attachment to Lord Vishnu by seeing your lotus feet, instead you devastate whatever devotion he possesses. You have reduced my devotional wealth by taking from me the dust of my feet. Lord Krishna has bestowed upon you all the devotion available in this unlimited creation, yet you steal from one with a meager holding. You have no compassion. When it comes to destroying someone's devotion, you are heartless. The Lord spoke the real facts about Advaitacharya's transcendental character under the pretext of being angry, and all the devotees were enjoying the fun. The Lord continued, you have been stealing, and you think I am not able to do the same? Just wait and see how to steal from a thief. The Lord embraced Advaitacharya and, catching his feet, smeared the dust from his feet upon his body, laughing as he did so. Advaitacharya's strength was no match for the lion-like Lord Gaurasundar, as the Lord took his feet and rubbed them upon his head, and then placed Advaita's feet upon his chest and said, now see how I have bound the thief on my lap. You tried to steal from me many, many times, a little at a time, but I have relieved you of everything at one time. Advaitacharya said, my Lord, whatever you say is true. You are the real proprietor of everything, and I am an ignorant person. Everyone belongs to you. Everything belongs to you, my life, intelligence, mind, and body. Who could protect me if you decide to destroy or punish me? You are the giver of happiness, and you also mete out punishment. When Narad Muni traveled to Dwarka to pray at your lotus feet, you in turn took the dust of his feet. If you wish to finish off your own devotee, then what may that devotee do? You should allow the devotees to take the dust from your lotus feet, but that never occurs. Who can defy your instructions on this matter? You are acting in this way, and your omnipotence is not in question. However, you may desire pleasure out of your actions. However, you may derive pleasure out of your actions, but they will surely destroy me. Yet ultimately, this body is yours, so you may do as you desire. You can maintain this body or devastate it. Lord Vishwambar replied, I serve your lotus feet since you are the keeper of the storehouse of devotional service. By smearing the dust of your feet all over one's body, one attains Krishna prema, as you always distribute such invaluable... By smearing the dust of your feet all over one's body, one attains Krishna prema, as you always distribute such invaluable treasure. Know that I am your property in every respect. You can sell me anywhere. This is the truth. The devotees marveled to see Lord Chaitanya's extraordinary munificence toward Advaitacharya. They were saying, truly the Lord has blessed him. He is the most exalted personality. The mercy Advaitacharya has received from Lord Chaitanya is scarcely attainable by even Lord Shiva, and far better than 1,000,000 liberations. We are so fortunate to associate with such an elevated devotee. Let us smear the dust from his lotus feet all over our bodies. Only those who are suffering the reactions of their most degraded sinful activities cannot appreciate Advaitacharya's position. All the activities of such personalities are absolute. The cynics and doubters of this fall away from the path of righteousness. Lord Vishwambar stood up chanting, Haribo, Haribo, and all the devotees gathered around him and started singing. Advaitacharya was overwhelmed with a surge of ecstasy, and he began to dance. He ran his fingers through his flowing beard. His eyebrows were drawn together in a frown, and he raised his voice as loud as thunder. The devotees sang joyfully, Jai Krishna Gopal Govinda Vanamali. Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya danced in rapture. Yet Lord Nityananda was always watchful of Lord Chaitanya's movements. Anytime Lord Chaitanya lost consciousness and started falling, Lord Nityananda would stretch out his hands and prevent the Lord from falling. Lord Chaitanya's limitless dancing is beyond description, and when he sang, both Saraswati Devi and Lord Balaram united and manifested in the melodies of his singing, thus fully satisfying him. Different ecstatic symptoms manifested one after another in his body: shivering, weeping, laughing, long and heavy breathing, feelings of total humility, feeling of immense arrogance, loss of consciousness, etc. After a while, he sat upon the throne and laughed out loud with a booming sound. The Lord showered his grace upon the different devotees according to the degree of their spiritual realization, thereby carrying them up in waves of great bliss. Now hear how Lord Gauranga showed his special mercy upon Shuklambar Brahmachari, a native of Navadip, who was then standing in front of the Lord. Shuklambar was righteous and peaceful, always performing his duties, yet no one recognized what an exalted devotee he was. He went around Navadip town with a cloth bag over his shoulder. He went around Navadip town with a cloth bag over his shoulder, begging from house to house. Tears would stream from his eyes as he constantly chanted the name of Krishna. People treated him with the usual disdain reserved for beggars, but the Brahmin begged from everyone, even from the most impoverished dwellings. At the end of the day, he prepared everything, and after first offering it to Krishna, he would take the remnants. By the grace of the holy name, by the grace of the holy name of Krishna, he never felt the desolate chill of poverty. Love of Krishna made him ever blissful as he went to each door chanting the name of Krishna. Who can recognize the devotee of Lord Chaitanya other than the person who has received the mercy of Lord Chaitanya? Shuklambar, the poor and devoted Brahmin, was just like Sudama, Krishna's friend. He was always inside the house of Srivas, seeing Lord Chaitanya dance. This was certainly the Lord's special mercy. One day, the Lord was seated upon the throne in the mood of the Supreme Controller Godhead. He saw Shuklambar Brahmachari join the dancing with a cloth bag hanging down from his shoulder. He was dancing with carefree glee. The Lord and the devotees enjoyed the sight and laughed. The munificent Lord addressed Shuklambar endearingly, asking him to come near. The Lord said, "Birth after birth, you have been my impoverished devotee, offering me everything and remaining a beggar yourself. At that time, I also have desired your offerings, and if you will not give them to me, then I must have them by force. In Dwarka, I snatched away the sack of chipped rice that you kept concealed. When I started eating from it, Rukmini Devi took hold of my hand to stop me." That happened in the pastime with Sudama Vipra. Vipra means Brahmin. Sudama Vipra was a Brahmin, and he didn't have anything except some dry chira or chipped rice, and Sudama Vipra's wife, they were very poor, and she said, well, Sudama Vipra had been in the Gurukul with Krishna, the Gurukul of Sandipani Muni. So Sudama Vipra's wife kept on telling him, go see your friend Krishna, he can help you. But so then Sudama Vipra went, but he didn't have anything to offer to Krishna, and he felt that. Only had some old dried cheer in a bag. When he came, his wife, Sudama Vipra's wife, wanted he would ask Krishna for some help, but he wouldn't ask Krishna to help him. He didn't want to ask anything from the Lord. But Krishna noticed a bag of dried cheer, and Krishna took it and ate. And then when he went to eat again, then Rukmini grabbed Krishna's hand and said no. She wouldn't let him eat this old rice. So that's when. The Lord said, birth after birth you have been my impoverished devotee, offering me everything and remaining a beggar yourself. At that time, I also have desired your offerings, and if you will not give them to me, then I must have them by force. In Dwarka I snatched away the sack of chipped rice that you kept concealed. When I started eating from it, Rukmini Devi took hold of my hand to stop me. The Lord plunged his hand inside Shuklambar's bag and picked up handfuls of husked rice, putting it inside his mouth and chewing it. This is uncooked rice. And Mahaprabhu grabbed it and is eating it. Shuklambar hastily said, O Lord, what have you done? This rice is full of broken chips. The Lord replied, I eat with delight your chipped rice pieces, but I will never accept or ask for nectar from a non-devotee. The Lord, who is the life and soul of the devotees, is fully independent and always submerged in the highest state of transcendental bliss. Who could forbid him from eating the chipped rice? The devotees marveled at the Lord's unlimited compassion, and holding their heads in their hands, they wept profusely in joy. Feeling they had never seen such kindness before, they rolled about, ecstatically oblivious of everything. So this is called chira, and it's meant to be soaked. Actually, it's meant to be soaked before it's prepared. It's like flattened rice, and it's meant to be soaked, and then it can be offered, or it can be taken in that way, mixed with yogurt, mixed with bananas, mixed with gur, and different things like this. But first of all, it's not always so clean. First you have to wash it and everything, and then prepare it. But Mahaprabhu ate it just out of the bag that Shuklambar was holding. Chanting Krishna's holy name, the devotees started up a jubilant kirtan, and everyone, either young or old, joined in with tears in their eyes. The devotees wanted to express their humility and joy. Some offered obeisances to the Lord. Others spoke out saying, O Lord, kindly never leave me. Shuklambar was feeling the highest ecstasy, seeing the Lord of Vaikuntha merrily chewing upon his chipped rice. The Lord said, O Shuklambar Brahmachari, I reside eternally in your heart. I eat when you are eating, and when you go out begging, it is though I am going out for a walk. I have descended to distribute Krishna Prema, and you are my eternal servitor, birth after birth. I gift you now with loving devotional service, which is most dear to me. The Vaishnava assembly greeted these benedictory words with clamorous and joyous appreciation. Only the most righteous souls know the real essence of the begging activities of the servants of the Supreme Lord, Sri Narayan. It is a real wonder that the Lord of the goddess of fortune is snatching and eating the chipped rice that has been begged for from many different houses by a poor Brahmin. In the Vedas, the Lord himself was instructed how to offer him foodstuffs with different mudras and mantras, and without these, the Lord refuses to accept anything. Nevertheless, the Lord himself has transgressed these rules and regulations for the sake of his pure devotees. The eating of Shuklambar's chipped rice is the living proof. Therefore, the conclusion is that transcendental love is the foremost of all rules. Therefore, the conclusion is that transcendental love is the foremost of all rules, regulations, and rituals. Rules and regulations are meant to be subservient and secondary to spontaneous devotional service. Those who are dissatisfied with this arrangement fall down from the path of self-realization. Sri Vedavyas has expounded in the Vedic literatures the devotional service to the Transcendental Lord is the basis and source of all rules and regulations. However, Srila Vyasadeva has expounded in the Vedic literatures that devotional service to the Transcendental Lord is the basis and source of all rules and regulations. However, these rules and regulations are subservient to the movements and moods of spontaneous loving devotion. And now the superior position of spontaneous loving devotion has been directly substantiated by Lord Gauranga. The Brahmin Shuklambar did not voluntarily offer the rice with the required regulations and mudras. Yet the Lord ate it with joyful, painstaking care. The Brahmin Shuklambar did not voluntarily offer the rice with the required regulations and mudras. He didn't formally offer it. Yet the Lord ate it with joyful, painstaking care. Those materialists who have been blinded by the glitter of gold, position, and family cannot recognize a Vaishnava devotee. Lord Krishna never accepts the offerings of those who ridicule a Vaishnava, seeing him only as a poor simpleton. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes very dear to those devotees who have no material possessions, but are fully happy in possessing the devotional service of the Lord. Indeed, the Lord relishes the devotional activities of such devotees. Those who are puffed up with material education, wealth, aristocracy, and fruitive activity are very proud of possessing material things, and they often deride the devotees. Even if such people offer the Lord worship, the Lord never accepts them. The Vedas glorify Krishna as being the life of the materially impoverished and surrendered souls. The Vedas glorify Krishna as being the life of the materially impoverished and surrendered souls, and Lord Gauranga is personally showing this by his example. One who hears this narration of how Lord Chaitanya ate Shuklambar's rice will indeed attain loving devotion to Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are my life and soul. I, Vrindaban Das, humbly offer this song at their lotus feet. Okay. So now I'll sing Hari Harai. Hari Harai Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama Hari Harai Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Maranamo Giridhari Gopinatha Maranamo Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Janardan Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Janardan Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jairupa Sanatam Bhakta Raghunath Jairupa Sanatam Bhakta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jawate Vignana Shamishta Puran Jawate Vignana Shamishta Puran H.I. Gosai Jarmui Taradas H.I. Gosai Jarmui Taradas Chasavar Badarenu Mora Panchagras Chasavar Badarenu Mora Panchagras Sadir Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Sadir Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame Janame More Abilas Janame Janame More Abilas H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindaban Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindaban Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Manjai Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Manjai Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narottam Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narottam Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narottam Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narottam Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gora Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gora Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Nitai Gora Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gora Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Jai Saparikara Shri Shri Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmal Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtadhara Sadashi Shrimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtadhara Sadashi Shrimad Srila Bhakti Rakshidhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Thakur ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattadasha Raghunath, Shad Goswami Prabhu ki Jai, Prem Sigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasi, Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishpaparanya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai. Nanda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Navadip Dham ki Jai. Shri Mayapur ki Jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Saparshada Shri Mad Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Shri Kuladvip ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai. Soquel Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram ki Jai. Ganga Devi ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani ki Jai. Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Shri Vrindaban Dham ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna, Go Gopi Govardhan, Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Kunda Yamuna Jo ki Jai, Shri Purushottam Dham ki Jai, Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Jo ki Jai, Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya, Shri Nrsingadev ki Jai, Bhakta Prabhara Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, all the assembled devotees ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Bhagawat ki Jai, Srila Vrindaban Das Thakur ki Jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj ki Jai.
Okay.